I am struck by the fact that when you listen to world leaders, the president, Tony Blinken, European foreign ministers, prime ministers, they always talk about two states, a Jewish and democratic state and a viable, independent, sovereign Palestinian state. And the word that's missing is democratic. Why is it missing? Because they know that an independent Palestinian state is going to be a Hamas state, and they don't want that. Of course they don't want that. Therefore, they're afraid to mention the word democracy. That's the problem, and it isn't solved by creating willy-nilly a Palestinian state and then hoping that, well, maybe people will change their minds. There's no evidence for it.
You know what's the problem? The problem is that you plant weeds and you expect flowers. Now, you cannot have a state with occupation and then say, oh, look at what the Palestinians are. You have to end the occupation and then put me to account. If you end the occupation, you give me my state, and then and give me democracy, and let me have democracy, and then decide whether I am doing what I'm doing there. But you are judging me with the occupation, and as a result, Hamas emerges. And so,
sorry, didn't we leave Gaza? We didn't leave Gaza in 2005?
Yeah,
that's
but
exactly what we did.
Yeah, but you left it and gave credit to Hamas.
Credit?
Yeah, of course. You left it unilaterally. And so Hamas said, we threw them out. It is not, you did not sit with the PA at the time and give diplomacy a chance and be able to give also negotiations a chance. You just left. And so Hamas
so just for those
we tried that in 2000, 2001.
I know a lot of you know the facts on the ground, but just for those of you who don't, Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005. At that time, the Palestinian Authority, which was represented by Yasser Arafat, was supposedly in charge, but within a short amount of time, there was an election. Hamas won. There was a war between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, and the Palestinian Authority was violently ousted as a result of that. If I'm got wrong on any of that, let me know.
And somehow that's still our fault.
You know,
no, but look, well, to be fair to Mohammed, what Mohammed is saying is, if the withdrawal from Gaza, had Prime Minister Sharon announced in principle he was withdrawing from Gaza, but he was going to negotiate the withdrawal so that the Palestinian Authority was assuming responsibilities in advance of the withdrawal and demonstrated the fulfillment of those responsibilities in advance of the withdrawal, and then you would be building up those who believed in coexistence as opposed to simply withdrawing and allowing Hamas to say, you see, our violence worked.
Like we did in the West Bank and Judea and Samaria in 2000, 2001 when the Palestinian Authority was formed. Wasn't that exactly what we did? 94% of Palestinians are living under the Palestinian Authority. That was an interim solution within the Oslo Accords.
It was,
isn't that exactly what we did?
It is, yes, partially. Did you give full autonomy to the Palestinians in AFD at that time?
We kept security control because we had no choice.
It wasn't just security control. Did you allow...
In Area A and B, yes, it was. Area C is a different story.
And you allowed them to go ahead and to export goods with no Israeli controls? And you allowed movement with no Israeli controls at all?
Well, if you're arguing, in a sense, that Israel should walk out. Now, it walked out in Gaza, and it gave that territory to the PA, which governed it for 2 years, remember. Hamas didn't take over the next day. The PA had 2 years to show it could do something positive and constructive, and failed.
Yes, but one of the points that he's making, I'm reinforcing, is maybe if there had been more coordination on the issue of withdrawal, you would have seen, could they fulfill the responsibilities that they were being given, number one. Number two, you look at someone like Salam Fayyad, who in fact was ready to build a state from the ground up, and it's not a question of Israel simply has to give and not maintain any control and not have demonstrations. He was asking for the Israelis frequently, put me in a position where I have to deliver. Put me in a position where I have to fulfill my responsibilities. And frequently, Israel did not do so. They did not act in a way that would have built up the authority of someone like Salam Fayyad.
You know, Dennis, that was true of the United States as well. And why was it true? Why is it that the United States did not focus on helping Fayyad do that? Because we were negotiating the two-state solution. All the energy went into the diplomacy rather than building from the ground up. And again, I would say to you, remember that Fayyad got 2% in the election with his state-building formula. It was not popular. People did not want to do that. I just want to say one other word about the weeds and flowers thing. It's a great line, but most of the countries in the world were once colonies. They were ruled by someone else who walked away. And an awful lot of them built constructive, prosperous, liberal democracies.